Cam enlightened me this week on the percentage chance that Florida State has of beating Miami, which I believe was at 18%, according to Bill Conley, and which was formerly whatever it was, 42%, according to 47%, whatever I put it at.
Yeah.
That was adjusted to 23%. So at 18%, according to Bill Conley, for Florida State pulling off an upset against Miami in Tallahassee, correct? It will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Even in Tallahassee, only 18%. Tony Kidd, along the same lines, asking for a realistic percentage that Alabama or Miami can pull off the upset against Alabama.
Man, low. And again, we have to play our A+ game, and they got to bring a C or a D kind of game. I really think that's the disparity, because it's not even about Miami not being a good team. It's about being a championship team this year. And I still see a couple gaps on the roster. I'm not necessarily sure that this team has that in them. I would love it if they prove me wrong. Yeah, but I think you're looking at a conservatively. So if they were to play 10 times, how many times would Miami win, kind of a thing? Once. You know, like maybe 1 out of 15, 1 out of 17. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking 10% chance that Miami beats Alabama is probably the ceiling for what I would project. I would probably put it in the single digits just because. So I'll give you the things. The disparity on the roster right now, the championship pedigree of the University of Alabama, and their current coach, Nick Saban, who's incredible. The fact that it's a spotlight game and the horrible performances Miami has had in such instances recently. You put all those things together, yeah, I would say 10% would be the ceiling. But again, we're going to work for it. We're going to fight for it. And if they prove me wrong, I'm going to be loud about it. I will let you know that I was wrong. And then I'm going to continue celebrating with everybody else. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that. But realistically, I just don't see that happening.
So everyone take note who beat me up for giving Miami a 9% chance of winning that game against Alabama. That Cam was right there with me. I went 9% on Miami's chances of beating Alabama. Keep this in mind.
9% is 1 out of 11. So that's – we're right there. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 11. Like, it's not – yeah.
And that doesn't make it a impossibility. That doesn't make it an App State Michigan situation. That doesn't make it, I think they're closer than that.
Right.
They're a top 12 to 15 team. As it stands right now, it could prove to be different, of course, once they hit the field and start winning the games. But at least my projection is that Miami's a top 12 to 15 team in the country, and Alabama's most likely the best team in the country, and at worst, a top 3 team in the country. And again, just look back to last season and think about just the loaded roster at Ohio State. Think about how good Texas A&M was last year, and they got dusted by Alabama. Look at how good Notre Dame was. More solid than explosive like Ohio State or Texas A&M with that top-end talent, but really, really good. They just got controlled. The scoreboard didn't look ugly, but Alabama had no worries in that game. That's how good Alabama was last year. And also keep in mind, and I keep hearing this and keep receiving feedback and calls about this when we do call-in shows, that, Bryce Young's inexperienced and Alabama's going to take a step back. Okay, let's understand that we've seen this now for 12 or 13 years under Nick Saban with first-year starting quarterbacks like Jay Coker. And we can go through the line. Jalen Hurts just getting on the field in the second quarter against USC in a blowout game there. So I took that comment that I hear repeatedly, and I went through the 7 playoff years and even took it back a year because I thought it would help my cause, because Nick Marshall and Jameis Winston in the 13 BCS championship game with no starting experience, no pass attempts for either one going into that season. And these are the results I came up with. 8 of the 16 quarterbacks that have competed in the last 8 national championship games, 8 of those 16 basically had no experience going into that season. So it's not like, yes, experience is meaningful, but it's not the end-all be-all. Like, it's doesn't happen. Trevor Lawrence shows up. Shoot, the likes of J.T. Barrett and Cardell Jones with 0 experience showed up and won a national championship. We've got all sorts of Jameis Winston. Nick Marshall started in a national championship game. 0 pass attempts starting that season.
Nick Marshall, who had been playing defensive back at
Georgia. Yes.
You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I mean, it is a factor for sure. But we'll see. But, you know, it is the first time against a live opponent for Bryce Young, really. That's having a game plan for him and all the kinds of things. But let's also not discount the fact that he was a 5-star All-American quarterback with an incredible level of talent. So it's not like you're having a substandard player out there. You just have an inexperienced, as in terms of starting experience, player who is very talented. And I obviously don't know what exactly they were doing in their spring game, but didn't he have like 5 touchdown passes in their spring game? And like that, you know, so like he's not been, you know, 11 for 37 for 122 yards, 4 picks, and you know that's not been his progressional path even last year, scout team, spring, anything like that. So I will be interested to see if he's able to be the everybody's All-American that he was from would he go to Modern Day, I want to say, out in California, because he was committed to USC. I think he was a Modern Day kid, which is like usually the pipeline. You go there, you win the starting job at Modern Day, which is never easy any year, and then you go straight from there to USC. You get drafted in the NFL draft. There's many a guy you can look at who has done that, but he decided obviously to go to Alabama. So this is a guy who has a lot of talent. So yeah, you know, we'll see.